Hello and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, powered each week by Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, our friends at Harper's Tree and Stump Removal have you covered. They can haul rock and sand, they can do driveway work, and can now do horizontal grindings of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048. or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is proud to be the premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Hello, and thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. If you're watching today on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button for us. If you're watching on Facebook, we encourage you to hit the like button and share it with your friends. Now that our high school football season has come to a close here in Southwest Georgia, we'll be featuring one guest each week that has a connection to our Southwest Georgia area, and we'll talk sports each week. Our guest today is a good friend, a former head coach at mericus-Sumter High School, who is now on staff with Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders at the University of Colorado, and that's Coach Michael Pollock. Coach, it's good to have you with us.
Man, Tim, I'm excited to be here. It's always good to talk to my buddies and friends in Southwest Georgia and keep up with what's going on down there football-wise.
Coach, I want to go back before we really get into what's going on now. I want to go back a little bit in your career and tell everybody the background that got you into coaching that led you up to the point you came to Americus. We'll talk after Americus later, but just give us a background on what got you into the profession and your stops along the way up to Americus.
Well, I played high school ball at Mitchell Baker in Camilla, and then I went up to University of Georgia, and I was a walk-on up there and had a great time up there. Got a lot of good relationships that I was able to build there. And then I got an opportunity. I was very lucky that, Coach Jack Johnson was our head coach at Mitchell Baker, and he kind of took me up under his wing after my sophomore year in college when I kind of decided I was going to go into coaching. I went and talked to him, and he allowed me to have a lot of opportunity when I could to volunteer my time to help and just sit down with him and talk football and learn. And of course, he I'm a little biased, but I don't think anybody would disagree with this statement. He was really offensively back then on the cutting edge of throwing the football. I mean, he had great quarterbacks back then, had Al Pinkins and Jake Rackley and some other guys that he had coached at Mitchell Baker. And then, of course, before then he was at Cairo when he had coached Joy Hester, who played at Georgia, and Duke Donaldson and Trey Gaines, who had great careers at Auburn. So he took me up under his wing, and I really got interested in how to throw the football and be successful with that kind of offense. And then when I graduated from UGA, I got fortunate. I got a job with Thomasville High School with George Bobo, and it was a deal where we just being around really good coaches. I think 9 coaches off that staff went on to be head coaches, and about half of them won head coaches. So we had a really good staff. I got a really good foundation into coaching. I was very fortunate. I spent some time at Swainsboro High School with Raven Teague, who just got inducted into the High School Football Hall of Fame. And then another guy that's really meant a lot to me in my career, Rick Tomlin at Washington County. He's been very, very close to me. I worked with him at both Washington County and Valdosta High School as his offensive coordinator. Of course, I got my first head coaching job at Cook County. We had a good run there, and played Americus in the state semifinals that year.
I remember that. I was actually in the dome that day.
Well, we had both of us had good teams, and it was a shootout. It was 35-28, and they had a really good team. Coach Soliday did a great job with them. I felt like we had a good team as well, and a lot of people think that was for the state championship, but it was like I say, it was a memorable game, and it was a shame that it probably wasn't for the state championship, because I know they're doing the countdown right now for top 100 state championship games on the Georgia High School Daily, and
Right.
it's kind of funny because the number 4 game was the Thomas County Central game in 1993 that I was a part of, and then the number 3 game was the 2016 Grayson Roswell game that I was a part of. So, that's kind of special. And I feel like that 2001 game with us in Americas, if it had been for the state championship, it'd probably be in the top 10, top 5 as well, because it was an exciting game. It was just great to be a part of it. But, then I left there. I went to Valdosta High School. I take that back. I went to Appleton County High School with Coach Johnson. He got a job there, and then I went to Valdosta with Rick, and then after that I went to Americus, and that's what led me up to Mericus-Sumter, and that was a great opportunity. I've got a lot of good friends in Americus. They're just some good people there that I met and had a good relationship with, and I felt like we had a really good run when I was there. And I enjoyed my time there.
Well, Michael, that leads me into what I want to talk about next. You had some very successful years here at Mericus-Sumter. In fact, after you left, they went through a long stretch where they didn't have much success, but you had a lot of success here. You built a lot of good relationships here, not just with the community, but with some of those folks on your coaching staff. I still weekly probably talked with Coach Carl Willis. And I know last week as he and I were talking and I told him you were going to be on the program, he said, boy, what a joy it was to work for a guy like Michael Pollock. So talk to me about some of those folks that meant a lot to you while you were here in Americus.
Well, I tell you what, man, that coaching staff that I worked with during my time there, those guys are still some of my best friends as far as, just guys I keep up with. Matter of fact, like I say, Coach Carl Willis he is an American treasure. He is a great guy, just a super guy to be around, real positive, do anything you want to ask him to do. And he just loves working with kids. And then, of course, Coach Mark Walton was a buddy of mine that I brought in that we really didn't know each other before I hired him at Americus. And it turned out it was a great hire for the program, and man, he did such a great job for us, and he got the most out of the kids he coached. And matter of fact, he just texted me last week and had a little conversation and everything. And the coach, Chris Lamb, was another guy. As a matter of fact, Chris and I just texting this morning. It's kind of ironic because Chris just out of nowhere sent me a text checking on me. And we had a good go at it and talking. And then Coach Wade, great guy. Love Chris Wade. And just to name a few of the guys there, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my boy Steve Smith.
Yeah.
You talk about a guy that's just, he would do anything for you. He works hard on the field. He does anything off the field you need him to do. I know he's doing a great job with Darren right now over there at Schley County. They do a great job coaching those kids, and they got some really talented players over there that they're coaching. But it takes more than talent, and they're definitely doing the right thing there to build that program into what they built it for. So and then of course Tom Prater, he's another good guy that was with me and everything. Like I say, we had a really good staff and we got along good. And I've got some really fond memories. I got a lot of players that keep in touch with me through Facebook off those teams. And we actually won the first playoff game that they had won since the two schools combined.
That's right.
We beat Washington County into playoffs, and then we went the next week. We got beat by Sandy Creek, but I think they had won like 2 or 3 state championships in a row. They won it that year, and we had a really good run, and it was a good time there.
There's another guy in the community that thinks a lot of you, and he's one of our sponsors. That's Marty McDonald. Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance is located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Americus. You can reach them at 229-928-3686 or drop by and see Marty or Mary Lynn or any of their fine staff and let them discuss your insurance needs. They can even do a discount double check to make sure you're receiving all of the savings that are available to you. Thanks to Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance for being a sponsor of this segment here on the Integrity Sports Podcast. And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Michael, for those that may not be as familiar with you, tell us a little bit about your journey from the time you left Americus until now.
Well, hey, I'm gonna segue off your deal about Marty. Marty is my buddy now. And as a matter of fact, I still have insurance with him, and I need him to do a double check for me. That's what I need him to do. So if you're watching, Marty, I need my discount double check.
He will do it.
There you go. Well, anyway, I left Americus and got the head coaching job at Habersham Central High School up in Northeast Georgia. And I loved living up there in the mountains and everything. But, you know, I felt like after a couple of years that it was a situation where I wanted to get back into a more competitive situation. And the best move I've ever made in my career. And it just goes to show when you look back on your career and there's jobs you apply for and you think, man, I wish I'd have got that job. I wish I'd have got that job, or I really wanted that job, whatever. And for whatever reason, you didn't get it. And God always puts you where you need to be. And I look back and I'm like, man, everything that's happened in my career led me up to 2015 when I went to Grayson High School. And spent 3 great years at Grayson High School. Won the state championship and the national championship in 2016 there. You know, we beat Roswell in the state championship game. That's right. What I was. They had Malik Willis was our quarterback. Of course, we had we had Chase Bryce, who's playing in the Canadian League right now, as our quarterback. We had Owen Papo as a linebacker. He's playing with the Arizona Cardinals right now. Wanye Morris played left tackle for us. He matter of fact, he started this past Sunday for the Kansas City Chiefs at left tackle, and had some other really good players that that have gone on to have great college careers and future NFL players and everything. But the thing that was so good about Grayson that helped me get where I'm at now is it gave me the opportunity to coach in the Under Armour All-America game. I got it. Coach Mickey Kahn was the head coach my first year there, and he got the job at Clemson. And I had kind of orchestrated a deal between Grayson High School and Under Armour, because I had been with them since Americus, trying to kind of been the company that I use for my uniforms and shoes and everything with my teams. And I had developed a really good relationship with the guys in Baltimore and got invited up there to Baltimore to tour their facility when I was at Grayson. And I got invited to coach in the Under Armour All-America game. And when I got down there, of course, we had, I think the year I went down there was 16 was the first year I went down there. Heck, it's a great deal. You get to take your family down there. They get to go to Disney World all week while you're practicing football. But we had 5 Under Armour All-Americans that year. So I went down there with those guys, and I got to coach the running backs down there. And I happened to be on Coach Prime's team because they had celebrity coaches. So Coach Prime coached, and I think it was Herm Edwards that coached the other team. Anyway, so I was on Prime's team, and Tim, he just took a liking to me. I don't know why. I do know this. I didn't go down there and fanboy him and ask for autographs and sign this, sign that, and all that. I could tell he was a serious coach then, and he was serious about it. He wasn't down there to be a celebrity. He was down there to win a game. It's All-Star. He was down there to win it, and he and I just kind of hit it off right there. And we exchanged numbers, and I never called him for anything like to come speak to, do something, a favor for me because of his celebrity. Anytime I talked to him, it was about football. It was about coaching. And matter of fact, he would call me more than I would call him because I didn't want to bother him. I didn't want to be that guy that was always on the phone with him. But anyway, so the next year I got invited back down there to the Under Armour game, and I happened to be on his team again. And by that time, we had developed a really good relationship. And he would, when they had an Under Armour camp in Atlanta, or he had some kind of camp himself in Atlanta, he would always call me up and ask me to come help him, and I would. And like I say, I think he just watched me, how I operated on the field, how I worked with kids, how I controlled my group, and did everything I did. And he kind of took a liking to it. So after that second year, he and I got to talking, and he was like, Coach, I got a goal to be in college football one day. And I really want to do that. He said, would you be interested? I said, Coach, heck yeah, I'll do anything. I said, just let me know and I'll be there. Well, I left Grayson after the 2017 football season. I took over at Lincoln County High School, and I spent 2 years there. And after my second year, we had gone to the quarterfinals that year. We actually got beat by Marion County, who was state runner-up that year.
Right.
Had a really good football team. Coach Kirksey and them did a great job. And Chris and I, as a matter of fact, we've kept in touch since that game and everything. And that was a great atmosphere down there. And we went down to the wire. And they got the best of us, and then they ended up, like I say, going and playing Irwin County in the state championship. But we after that, Prime had kind of called me, and he told me we had something coming up, and so I left, and he called me, and he told me, he said, I'm gonna know something this summer. So that I moved back down to South Georgia with my close to my parents. Because I knew something was fixing to come up, and I did, and so I just taught at Colquitt County from August to like November, and when at the end of November 30th, I left, and he had already called me and told me what was going on, and as a matter of fact, when he called like in August and told me he had a job. I didn't even ask him where we were going. I said, I'm in.
Yeah.
I told him, Coach, I'm in. And I hung the phone up, and my dad, he said, hey, where are you going? I said, I don't even know. I need to call him back. So I called him back, and he told me Jackson State, and it was a great situation. And you know what? Like I say, November 30th of 2020 was my last day teaching in Georgia. And I actually had enough sick days that I could retire with 30 years.
Wow.
So I was able to retire with full benefits from the state of Georgia, moved to Mississippi in December, and we started. And then, like I said, we went to Jackson State. We won 2 SWAC championships. We played in the spring in that COVID year, and we were 3-3 that year. But we had just got there, took over the program, and then after that, we kind of got some guys that we had brought in through the portal going, and we went undefeated in the SWAC 2 years in a row, and won it both years. And then last December, he gets the Colorado job, and I'm out here, and we started off guns a-blazing, and we kind of pitter-pattered a little bit here at the end and didn't finish how we wanted to finish. But I tell you what, we what we've accomplished here after what we got. When we got here, they were 1-11 and didn't have a very good roster. And for us to win 4 games, and really and truly, we lost 5 games by a touchdown or less.
Right.
And so that, if you'd have looked at that, told me last December when we got here, looked at that schedule, and we had a chance to win 9 games, you know what I mean? I'd have been like, wow, what a job, So, but like I said, we're right now we're recruiting our butts off. We recruit Georgia real heavy. We Prime likes guys from the Southeast.
Yeah.
best football. That's where the best high school football is played. It's where the best, football period is played. And those are the kind of kids. Honestly, those are the kind of kids that are going to be able to excel with him because he's very demanding. He's old school. He does a lot of things like those kids are used to seeing and used to doing with their coaches in high school. And if they're just built a little different down there. So that's that. We're really heavy into the state of Georgia and state of Florida.
Coach, I want to talk a little bit about recruiting because it has changed over the last decade or so, especially since the transfer portal came into play. There's a lot of folks that feel like this has hurt the high school athletes seeking to get recruited. I'd be interested to get your thoughts on recruiting in 2023, 2024, and give us some advice. Give advice to those high school athletes that maybe 5 years ago are a surefire D1 player, and now because of the transfer portal, they may need to play at a lower level as a high school athlete.
Well, as a matter of fact, I just got through talking to a guy on my way to work this morning about this very same thing. I'm going to tell you just like I told him, high schools have gotten smarter about how they deal with elite athletes. Once an elite athlete is identified, the principal, the AD, the head coach, teachers, they do a lot more nowadays to help those kids qualify and make sure they, get the proper help or whatever they need to qualify. So the days of a kid going to junior college because he of a Prop 48 situation or an academic situation, those are about gone. We don't see a lot of that anymore because most of the kids they handle their business in high school and they got a good support system at most schools to help them. Now I say Group of 5, Division II, Division I, what used to be 1AA, FCS now. Those are kind of like the junior colleges for Power 5s now. Right. That's where most of a guy goes there, proves he can play at that level, and there you're already getting a kid now that he's been to college, he's away from his mom and daddy, he knows how to handle his business on his own. You don't have to worry about him being homesick and all that kind of stuff, and he understands what the schedule is because it doesn't matter what level you're at. We're all on the same schedule. It's a everyday job for these kids, and so to get an older kid that is more experienced to come in and play at this level is better. But now, if you're an elite guy, and you know who you are, you know what I mean? You're a 4 or 5, and I hate to use stars, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a couple of guys right down there close to you that, who I'm talking about. I can't call the name right now, but I know
Zayden
who they
Walker. Are. Yeah. Zayden Walker and DeLewis Solomon. Well,
the thing about it is those kind of guys are really guys that can take their time and do their recruiting like the old way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if you're kind of what I call a tweener, and maybe back in the old days you'd have been a late offer by a Georgia or an Auburn or Colorado or you Florida State or somewhere like that, then you probably need to consider Georgia Southern, Georgia State, some places like that. To Kennesaw State, Mercer, West Georgia State, places like that, to give yourself a chance to get some tape, get some college tape, and then maybe test the waters in the portal. But I tell you what, Tim, I feel bad for these high school kids because it has affected them. But I tell you something else has affected them too, even more so than the portal that they don't like to talk about. When COVID came out, when we went through COVID, we told a lot of these states told these high school kids, hey man, we're just canceling the season. If you're a senior, too bad. You're not gonna get to play football, and or you're not gonna get to play basketball or baseball or whatever your sport is. You're just gonna lose out. But we felt, and we had no problem telling a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old young in high school that he was going to lose a year of playing. But the NCAA wanted to tell 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22-year-olds, hey, we're going to give you an extra year. Even if your team plays this year, we're not going to count it against you. And, that's how – and we got kids now that have, 6, 7, 8, 9 years that they've been in college, and they're still playing, and I mean, and listen, I grew up going to University of Georgia, and I'm glad they won 2 national championships with Stetson Bennett. But you and I both know back in the old days, Stetson Bennett wouldn't have been able to play at 25 years old.
That's right.
That's just a fact. I mean, it's like Bo Nix is out there in Oregon right now. He's an old man.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, his dad won a state championship last night over in Alabama. I saw that this morning. Central of Phoenix City got him a state championship,
Wow.
and Patrick Nix is the head coach there.
Yeah, Patrick real well. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that works here with me, Tommy Robinson, that is coached all over the SEC. He went to Central Phoenix, and he went to Troy and played in college for coach. As a matter of fact, Tommy played for Chan Gailey at Troy.
Wow.
And then coached for Chan at Dallas. So, yeah, he's got a good relationship with Coach Gailey. And, of course, Coach Gailey's connections to Americus, everybody knows those well. But yeah, Tommy's from Central Phoenix. And he and I were talking at lunch yesterday about Central playing Thompson and how all the good players that they got on those 2 teams playing each other. But I'm happy to hear that. I got a buddy of mine that coaches at Thompson, Taylor Burgess, that coached with me at Grayston. His granddad was Bill Burgess and was the head coach of Jacksonville State years ago. So yeah, I feel for Taylor, and I hate it for him, but I'm happy for those kids at Central Phoenix. I'm happy for Patrick. Patrick is a good dude. Anytime we go, I went to recruit there when I was at Jackson State. He was always very welcoming and accommodating to what I needed to see and everything, and he's got it rolling there in Phoenix City, man. They got a great situation, they got great facilities, and they got great players.
Absolutely. One Digital Solutions is a steward of business growth and personal development. Their insurance, financial, and HR platforms provide you with a personalized, tech-enabled solution for a contemporary work-life experience. One Digital resolves real problems for your business and your employees. They do that by fusing together customized solutions that address things like employee benefits, HR, and financial services. It's really everything all in one. It's One Digital. Give our friend Will Peterson a call at 229-347-6289. One Digital is a proud sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast. Coach, just a couple of more things before we wrap up today. It's kind of the dream of most young coaches to one day make it to the collegiate level, and specifically to a Power 5 school. You've now reached that level. I'd just like to hear from you, Coach. What are the great things about being at that level, and maybe what is one of the challenges of being at that level?
Well, I tell you what, the great thing is there's nothing like, listen, I love coaching on Friday night. There's nothing like coaching on a small town in South Georgia, and you can smell the grass, you can smell the hamburgers and hot dogs cooking and all that. But when you go out and for example, we went out and played at TCU in Fort Worth, our very first game. And you see all the national media, the national attention, you see the pageantry of college football firsthand. You're on that field, and you see the stands filling up, and just to perform on that stage, and to be in that light. I mean, what a great feeling! It's just a great feeling to be a part of that. Something that you've watched on TV your whole life, and then to say that you're a part of that, and then the thing about it too is, after we won that game, and it's not just that game, the number of people that just reach out to you just with genuine comments. I mean, just genuine support for you, and just to know that, hey, man, my people back in the 229 were watching.
That's right.
So that's a great part of it. Now, as far as the challenge goes, the challenge is the transfer portal, because as much as you're trying to recruit kids in the transfer portal, you've also got to recruit kids already on your own roster, because they're, you don't want them to get in the transfer portal. Now there may be some of them you want to get in the transfer portal. That's that's another story. But I mean, for the most part, you want your guys to stay and you want, because they know how to work, do what you want to do. And so you got to really work hard to keep them happy, because, in the days now that we've got NIL and collectives out there, I mean, and I can't blame a kid. I mean, heck, if I was his age, I would be, trying to make a little money on the side too. You can't fault a person in America for trying to make money. That's what, right. It's built on. Now we may not all like how it's turning out, how it goes and everything, but it is what it is. And, it was probably something that could have been handled a lot better had the NCAA jumped on it earlier and really organized it better. And I think they eventually will. I mean, because I tell people all the time, I say, man, even the NFL has a salary cap.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Also, the NFL has contracts where you sign a 3-year contract. You can't go anywhere for 3 years. You can't jump the transfer. So if you want to be a professional and act like a professional, I mean, that's part of it too. But the situation we got now is what we got, and I don't blame the kids for trying to take advantage of it to benefit themselves and their families, because there is a lot of risk out there in playing football for them, and everybody doesn't get to make the NFL. So it is what it is.
Well, Coach, I hope this doesn't put you on the spot, and you can give me coach speak here if you want to, but I know you're a loyal guy. You and I got to know each other pretty well when you were here in Americus, and you're a good football coach by anybody's definition. Are there aspirations from Michael Pollock to one day be a college head coach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's my goal. That's what I want to be. I feel like I'm with the right guy that's grooming me for that. He talks to me all the time about it, about my goals and aspirations. And he's got a lot of good connections with a lot of good people. Ain't a lot of people that can go sit down with Jerry Jones in his box at the Dallas Cowboys and watch a game. And he's one of them. And it's not just him. I'm going to tell you what, he's well respected by all coaches that meet him. I think a lot of coaches, they have a idea or an opinion of who they think, they think he's about. And then when they meet him and get to know him a little bit, they really learned that, man, he's serious about coaching, and he's a very good coach. He does things the right way. And I mean, he's old school, man. He is old school as it comes. He talks about his days at Florida State, Mickey Andrews. He loves Mickey Andrews and how Mickey Andrews coached him. And everybody knows what kind of defenses Mickey Andrews used to have. So,
that's
that's kind of the way that he operates. Most of what he does is based off what Coach Andrews taught him. And they still have a good relationship. Matter of fact, Coach Andrews has been out to visit us and observe our practices and just talk to him about what he's seen. So he's got a lot of resources, and I feel like I'm in a great situation that's going to help me propel my career even further.
Man, that's awesome. One more sponsor to get to. All South Appraisals is your trusted partner in appraising rural properties. They can handle all types of properties, whether it's agricultural, commercial, or residential. All South Appraisals has a commitment to accuracy and a dedication to the unique nuances of rural properties, and that's what sets them apart. They blend modern technology with old-fashioned attention to detail. Give All South Appraisals a call at 478-837-3818. Coach, I've been doing this podcast now for almost a year. The first 4 or 5 months that we did it, we did what you and I are doing today, where we had a one-on-one interview, and that's been great. Throughout the high school season, we went live at a local restaurant and previewed Southland, Sumter County, and Sly County's weekly games. You are our first interview after that season's over. One of the things that people really seemed to like that we did prior to the live show was how I ask each guest every week to talk about their family and their support network behind the scenes, because we know the tough job that you have, the scrutiny that you're under at times. So give us an idea about those folks behind the scenes that really lift up Michael Pollock.
Well, I tell you what, Tim, man, I've got a great support system. I've got 2 wonderful daughters, Reagan and Brennan. Reagan's graduated from the University of Georgia. She's working up in Athens right now. Brennan just graduated from Georgia Southern, and she's working with a company out of North Carolina, but she gets to base out of Statesboro still. And man, I'm so lucky. Reagan and Brennan have always supported me. Of course, I try to be the best dad to them I can possibly be. And then, of course, I've got two great parents. I'm lucky my parents are still alive, and they live down in between Camilla and Pelham on the family farm. And you know, they are just always, you know, checking on me and just doing whatever they need to do to support me in my career. You know, whether it just be an ear to listen to me, or, you know, just be there for me, you know. So I've got a great family. I'm so lucky that they're there for me, and you know, and they just do a great job of supporting their daddy and their son. And you know, they watch the games every Saturday. You know, they may have it on split screen if Georgia's playing.
Yeah,
but that's okay. You know, that's all right too. And they get into it. They really get into it. I mean, listen, when I get home or get to the locker room and I look at my phone, I got a few messages from them. They critiquing me a little bit. You know,
well, I tell you this, Coach, I remember your two daughters when you were in Americus. We had just opened our gymnastics center here, and they were young kids at that time, and remember getting to spend some time with them. And it's been so much fun watching them grow up on Facebook into the young ladies that they are now. And I know you've got to be proud.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm very proud of them. They just make my day. Every day I wake up and think about them. They text me, call me, whatever. And, you know, I get to, I'm very fortunate that I get to experience the opportunity to have two daughters that have been nothing but a positive in my life. They've never caused me one bit of trouble. They've never had any, listen, it's been like I've been on cruise control as a dad.
I know what you mean. Hey, Coach, it's been great to have you with us today. It is so neat to follow you from South Georgia. And one of the things I hope you'll always remember in the back of your mind is you made an impact wherever you've been. And I've never been a Colorado fan, but I followed each game this year simply because I had that connection with you. And I'm sure there's a lot of folks that do that. Hope you'll tell Coach Prime we are supporting him here in Southwest Georgia, and we love what you guys are doing there. But thanks again for being with me today.
Well, Tim, man, I appreciate it, and I'm glad I could support your podcast. This is an awesome thing that you're doing. You know, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but we got a little podcast here of mine that me and one of the coaches here at Colorado, Coach Hart, do, and Uncle Neely, he handles it for us. It's called The Whistle. And my handle is on there. Coach Pollock CU is on my YouTube channel. And, you know, I appreciate anybody. Hey, if you want some fun comedy entertainment from two college coaches, just tune in. I can promise you. We'll give you.
Listen, I have watched it. It's awesome. I'm ready for some more content.
We were doing really good. And then we went on a little bit of a losing streak. And me and Coach Hart were like, man, I don't know if I can be funny this way.
Yeah.
We got to get it going back again. We're going to, but you know, you can find it on my YouTube channel. You can also find it on the pregame show that Uncle Neely does for Colorado. And Tim, I support you 100%. I'm glad you invited me. I've been looking forward to this all week, and man, it's been a lot of fun catching up with you, man.
And we want to thank all of you for viewing the Integrity Sports Podcast each week and making it a part of your weekly routine. Again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share our videos on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on X, or any of the other social media or podcast platforms. We look forward to seeing you again next week. For my friend, Coach Michael Pollock, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.